Boom. Sounds epic. Another epic podcast. I think we're going to have an epic one. Episode 100. Man. But tonight's episode of For Music Lovers Only is dedicated to the late Eric Wright, better known as Eazy-E, aka the gangster of or the godfather of gangster rap, infamously known from the rap group NWA, producing rap groups like Bone Thugs and Harmony, as well as his own solo albums. Today marks 30 years since he passed away. And that and the fact that he was a rock and roll inductee with NWA kind of made it feel right just to have him honored or dedicated for this episode. So let's get straight into it. Welcome to For Music Lovers Only, a podcast where each host makes a top 5 list of their favorite songs from this week's topic. Each week is a new topic. Tune in, I dare you. Music. Lovers Only.
Channeling my inner Eazy-E, man. So
Huh?
I can't
What?
see what's on. So
Things dinging over here. What'd you say?
I said I was just channeling my inner Eazy-E.
Yeah. Like I said, it's funny how we kind of do these categories, and it seems like always something is kind of interweaving. Like we had Randy Rhoads. He's an inductee as well. We talked about him last week, but 30 years with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Museum this year. 30 years since Eazy passed, and so there's a lot of things that are fun. But Santi is a little under the weather. This is episode 100, so that kind of makes me sad that she's not here in person, but we've got her list recorded, and we'll play that, I think, towards the end of the podcast after our live parts of it. And as always, I got Coach next to me. We're going to talk Hall of Fame inductees, songs from Hall of Fame inductees. But how you doing, Coach?
I'm doing good, man. Freaking I've been to a bunch of concerts lately. I mean, we talked about the one we went to recently, the heavy metal stuff. We went to and seen Haters Coalition and all of them. And then Saturday, I went to a country concert, went and seen Jalen Johnson, who's getting famous from The Voice.
Yeah.
And he put on a hell of a show. It was all an acoustic show, just him and his guitar kicking ass. He covered a bunch of music, did his own songs. One of my favorite things he did was covered Ain't No Rest for the Wicked by from Cage the Elephant, but in country. Rocked it. And then last night went to Bumpin' Uglies, which we talked about last week, which was a blast.
Yeah. I got to say, shout out, Mr. Coach, to Cage the Elephant. That's how I found the Rainbow Kitten Surprise, one of my new favorite bands. On the Spotify, it was playing after that. And then last week, the Bumpin' Uglies brought up Joey Harcum. And, dude, he's got some really good music. Some of it's dark but positive because it's that reggae, it's kind of life.
He's on a bunch of he's on the Dirty Heads Radio stuff. I think he has a couple songs with them. So
yeah, he's got at least one with Bumpin' Uglies.
Yep.
And so that was a good one.
And I'll tell you what, one of my best favorite concerts I've ever been to. No shit. Just all around good time. I mean, he stopped while they still had a little music going and did this interlude or whatever you want to call it in the middle of it, and just did this whole talking to everybody and made you turn around and hug somebody you didn't know and like talk to people like, we need more love. And it's like shit like that don't happen at concerts. I've been to a lot of concerts, and unless you're real messed up, you ain't hugging nobody.
This is true. But yeah, that was at the Wave, right?
It was at the Wave.
Yeah, Wave's a pretty cool venue. That last weekend, or the weekend before last, that was my first time ever getting there, and it's been around for 100 years now here in town. So, but yeah,
good place, man.
But Jana, that was Jana. Thanks for the 100th episode. Woohoo!
Hell yeah!
Yeah, thank you. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It was founded in '83 by the founder and chairman of Atlantic Records. And then in '86, Cleveland won the bid to make the museum the home. And so once they got that in place, they started taking inductees, and the first list was a huge list. I can't remember who all was on it. I'm pretty sure the Beatles were on the first one, and I mean, I may be wrong, and please correct me if I am wrong. And a lot of other, the Chuck Berry was on there. I can't remember who else all was on there. And then it opened to the public in 95. So it's the 30th anniversary for the museum itself. And that's in Cleveland, right on Lake Huron, I think. I don't know. One of the Great Lakes right there. Like I said, I've been at least twice, maybe 3 times. I can't remember. I've slept since then. And plan on taking the kid this summer for her first trip to Ohio. And it's pretty crazy looking out at that lake, knowing that it's just a lake, and it's like the ocean. You can't see the other side. No land on the other side, and so that's pretty crazy to think of how big of a lake it really is.
The first ever list, just because we were talking about it, I don't know if this is actually the truth or not, but it's Chuck Berry, James Brown, Elvis Presley, Ray Charles, Sam Cooke, Little Richard, Fats Domino, Jerry Lee Lewis, Buddy Holly, and the Everly Brothers. And then I think they went from there. So
Okay.
I'm wrong again. This is just what the internet is saying is the first inductees in 1986, January 23, 1986.
I'm a little shocked the Beatles didn't make the cut for the first one, but I mean, I certainly wouldn't. I mean, if it required bumping any of those, I don't think it would have.
Well, it's hard to say if there was some early thing. I gotta have to go through and look back at all those. Or all those are all American bands. Were they all? Did they cover a certain genre? And then the next year they were gonna. I mean, I don't know. I'd have to go look at the rules to.
Yeah, I don't know the criteria about it, and I mean, I'm sure the Atlantic Records guy was just thinking about making more sales, but it's still a cool idea, cool thought. Over 400 inductees now. The 2025 inductees haven't been. I think they're still nominees. They haven't been voted in. I don't know how it works. I don't know who votes. I assume there's a board or what's a chair? I guess that is a board, but some kind of board or judges.
Right, it's writers, it's that kind of stuff. Just like the Baseball Hall of Fame, just like all of them. I'm sure it's writers, previous, inductees and stuff like that.
Yeah, I know Eazy-E. It was Kendrick Lamar nominated NWA. I think it was NWA in 2016, and that's how that got through. So yeah, I don't. I mean, I don't know how. He's not inducted into it yet, so I don't know how that quite works. But I had a lot of, and it's not just rock and roll. It's music, and I don't know why they just don't change it to Music Hall of Fame. It seems like that would be more accurate, but hey, I'm just a layman here.
Yeah, maybe when that was formed in the beginning, they were trying purposely to exclude a certain type of music, or I don't know.
There's not a lot of country, but there is. I mean, the heavy hitters, Willie, Johnny. I mean, there's certainly representation.
Yeah, not
from the country, but they're the least, I think.
Yeah, by far, I would say the least.
Yeah.
Well, what do you got planned for tonight? Other than did you have any? You got any last 100 favorite memories? You got any? Anything like that?
I've kind of went back. I've been trying to get the YouTube page going, so I kind of go back and look at some of the old categories and stuff. And I mean, what did we determine? You came on like at 25, I think, right? Like 20s.
When there, I was trying to look back. I didn't start doing it on my phone list until it would have been like episode 36 or 37, 38. I didn't count them then. I just kind of went back and looked how many I've done on my phone, was trying to figure out how many I've been a part of, missed a few in between, not many, one or two. But I called in sick, didn't call, no show one episode, but yeah, I've had it's been fun, man. In the beginning, it was just it's been different formats almost. It's been different God, energy levels. I don't know if you want to say it. We've had we've had some little bit of anger on the show in the past.
I
We've
think
had,
some of the early ones we could have been music haters only.
Sir,
We
yeah,
got into a lot of
something
hate.
but I mean, what sucks is one of the things that I give crap about that was some of that. I look back and now I'm the one that you look at my Elvis show, you look at my I almost start out this one with I'm not that big a fan of Eazy-E. I love everything that created because of Eazy-E, so that's why I respect the hell out of him.
Yeah.
But there's very little that Eazy-E. I don't like the cadence of his rap style, but we talked about that before. Yeah. But I respect what he created, the style, the lyrics, the things like that. But even there's a bunch of rappers that were around him that had different styles, and he's like, no, this is how we rap. Yeah.
Well, out of that group, he's certainly my my least favorite. And like I said, I remember it was a younger friend of mine, like early, middle school, I don't even remember. His brother was away in the army or something, in the military. So we raided his room for all the good stuff, and that's how I first got introduced to Eazy-E. And it didn't really grab me. I didn't like it. I would still, Tupac's still my go-to on all the gangster rap. My number one's Tupac, hands down. Cube's up there as well, and Dre even. But Snoop, all of them.
Yep. No, I'm with
all
you.
of them but him. He's at the bottom. But, like I said, but for what he created.
Automobile for me with him, and then that one, and then there was like his funny songs or some of him were the best.
Raunchy. I think he only had like 3 albums before he passed, and he did the Boys in the Hood. I think he put on every album just a different version. Even I think with the second NWA album, I think Boys in the Hood was on there, and of course the movie, which has a character that's very much reminds me of Eazy-E. I'm pretty sure that was intentional.
Yes,
but so then with Cube's involved, well, I'm getting them mixed up, aren't I? Yeah, but either way, the Boys in the Hood, that's definitely that they took it for me. I don't know if they had to get clearance. I'm sure they did, because he was, money wise, I think he was pretty tight on everything. He was
pretty smart. He was like one of the original moguls or whatever. That's why I think some of the people started hating on him, because he started caring more about like the business and the money side and about the rap. And a lot of those guys were like, no, we're living the life, and we're making music and we're true to the game, or whatever you want to call it. So
Santia says she's listening in the background and laying in the dark. I said, hope you get to feel it better.
That's the best way to watch us, is not watching us. I've always said we're much easier on the ears than we are on the eyes.
I had a comment this week that said, you should use that voice every time you do. And I go, that's just my voice. I don't know. I'm talking a little quieter. So I'm trying not to yell tonight. I'm a little get it up on the mic a little bit. I'm trying to get the radio voice.
It just depends. Sometimes I get in there and get all soft. Yeah. And then sometimes just excited.
I know. It just I just want to be me. I don't want to have a radio voice.
Now, I'll say this now. I've enjoyed, the coolest thing's been the Janas, the people that have taken the time to watch and listen and comment and listen to the playlists and give us your 30 minutes or 40 minutes, or in old episodes, an hour of your time to, listen to our music and tell us about yours. And that's what I'll always say. Anybody that listens, tell us the music that we're not putting on there, because that's why we do this too, is, part of the reason that I keep coming back to the show. Yes, I love Josh. I love Santia. I like music, man. I love it. And this, like, the discovery of it, I wouldn't have went to this concert last night if it wasn't for this show. 100% straight up. I knew Dirty Heads before. I knew music, don't get me wrong, but I wasn't out trying to discover. I was listening to my world. I might listen to some music that it associated with, but I wasn't out, and the horns and some of this just started making me push into different topics. And I mean, you guys turned me into a 2 day a week cowboy. I mean, that's your fault. No, it's a lot of faults, but country music I discovered I don't dislike as much as I was trying to say.
Yeah, mine happened. That country music stuff happened to me way early. The first heartbreak, and that's when country. When I felt the country, when I felt heartbreak for the first time, and it happened early for me. So, but we're not going to get into that again. But anyways, like I said, the playlist you brought that up. It's live right now. Last week's drinking songs. We got some good ones. We got some sad ones. We got some in between ones. I don't know, but check it out. Most of the other episodes have playlists. There's lulls. There's some lulls, but you can enjoy some. I started the Today in Music again, and it's been stupid successful on YouTube so far. 4 days, but I discovered that I started it again about the same time I started it last year, so it's like all the same facts, not, I mean, just maybe a year, but that's not the new stuff. I try to stick to the 90s, kind of stuff when we were growing up. Sometimes I get an old one, if it depends, but now I'm getting into those. So I think I got 3 months to get through before I stopped doing it last year, just because it is daunting. It gets a little overwhelming. So I don't know if I can maintain, but I'm going to try.
We need to figure out, and I know that'd be overwhelming. Maybe I'll try to figure out how to help do it, but to do it would have been fun to have ready, but 100th episode playlist. I know we'll have it, obviously, our normal 15 our songs, but like our actual top 100 or something like that, would be something fun to compile sometime. So
yeah,
follow me on Spotify. Maybe I'll figure out, or I'll figure out how to go put it on there.
Yeah. All right, you got the spinner handy. We'll go ahead and spin. And
I didn't know how I was going to do a modified one minus Santia. I guess if we land on her, we do hers, or we are doing hers last. We've decided that.
I think let's do it last. Let's get ours out of the way, because I'm calling that you.
Yeah, if you. I'm going to tell you this now. Every week, you guys have a right to come after me for my list, because it's the list I'm feeling that week. But it's our top 5.
Yeah.
And this one, every week has been hard. Some weeks are a little easier. Some just kind of come to you. Some you're just, we have to fight for a couple songs. But for the most part, even in the same bands, we have different taste in our favorite songs. It's amazing how we do like a lot of the same music, but how we still find different songs that we kind of flock to. We still have a lot of songs that we don't, but this one was hard. So literally I have 25 songs, and before the show I sat here and played a little spinner. That's why I was kind of half in with you and half out, and came up with my 5. And that's how I did it, because this was impossible. There was 17,000 songs. I just kept playing, and my wife's like, "Oh, you gotta have." We were driving home from the concert last night, and she said, "Oh, well, that's got to be on your list." And I went to the next one. Oh, that. And I went to the next one. Oh, yeah, well, that. And that. Oh, that. It's like, yeah, I know.
Yeah. Almost 400 inductees right now.
That's why and 400 songs from each one of them. So,
Yeah, exactly. So it was definitely tough.
All right. Well, here's how it starts. My number 5, Talking Heads, just a big part of my life. This one, just like a song that kind of early on in my life, before I even knew how big of a Talking Heads fan I was, it was part of a lot of shows, a lot of movies, whatever, but Burning Down the House.
Yeah.
I think it was like on Nerds or on one of those. I don't remember what it was on, but before I knew who Talking Heads was, I knew that song. It's such a vast difference from like Psycho Killer and some of their other ones. So
yeah, like I said, when I couldn't believe it was the same band, because like I said, Burning Down the House was what introduced me to him, and then like I said, I heard like Psycho Killer, and I'm like, wait, what? This is no.
But then you listen, they're kind of. I don't think they had a. I mean, I guess you could say they had a genre, but they didn't. They made up, down, in. I mean, they made so much music. Like they would be a fun one to keep discovering because there's so every time I dig more, I find more music I kind of didn't know because so much of their music wasn't mainstream. So, number 4, it's just kind of again, this list got created as by a spinner, but also by how these songs hit me. If I was going through, I'm like, God, I gotta have it. I added it. Number 4, Grand Funk Railroad. We're an American band.
Yeah.
I don't know if you were doing top 10 songs like to describe music or what. Somehow I think that song gets in there. I don't know, man. But
the Captain? I think that's the one that really grabs me by them.
Okay.
Railroad. I think it's the Captain or something.
Some about them. I had to get them on the list, and they made it.
Yeah, great band.
Number 3, we talked about this Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I wanted to use Eminem. I wanted to use Eminem. I wanted to use all these others, but instead, I think this band is why rap got into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. What kind of changed it from maybe what you would consider rock and roll, but I'm going with the Sugar Hill Gang, Rapper's Delight.
Yeah.
First ever, I think, rap into the Hall of Fame. And again, I think the reason why rap's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I mean, Run DMC and the Beastie Boys, all from kind of that era. Can't remember, I mean, there's a lot of other, good bands that should probably, or rappers that should be in there.
I'm sure there's a ton. That's where I was kind of looking because
Daddy Kane. I don't know if he was in there.
I said we could have done Rock and Roll Hall of Fame rock bands, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, blues. We could have done. I mean, it's same with there. I was surprised how much pop, like especially like the 50s and 60s pop music bands were in there. So
yeah, and that was kind of what the uproar about this year's, because I think Mariah Carey, was on there again or something, and there were some pop bands, and there's people on the internet were making a stink about it, and I'm like, well, it's been pretty inclusive from the beginning, so
I've come to find I both love and hate the internet. People on the internet are both very intelligent and very dumb.
Yep.
So it just depends on which part of the internet you're getting your news from. It can really mess you up.
Oh yeah.
My number 2. This was another one of those when it came across. It's like, man, I haven't listened to this song for a while, but it describes the Hall of Fame to me. It's the Animals, House of the Rising Sun.
Yes. Yes.
Good song. That one, even if the spinner didn't land on it, I was going to try to make that one get on the list. Great song. And again, I think if you were doing Hall of Fame songs, that would have to be on there. So
yeah, the Animals, very, very influential. I mean, I love them.
Yeah, it was crazy how much. So I said, you kind of forget how much music they really have. Just so many of these, because as you found one of these bands that I don't want to say forgot about, but maybe put aside, then all of a sudden you're like, oh, this song and this song and this song and this song. And
yeah.
So, my number 1, they're probably one of my favorite rock and roll bands. They're my dad's favorite. They, I don't know, man. I really like them. I was one of the concerts that I'm glad I made it to, even though they were a little too old when I went there. But ZZ Top, Sharp Dressed Man, is my number 1.
Good one.
Hall of Fame list.
Yeah, I love ZZ Top. Dad's always loved it. The albums. We'd go to the car shows with the Daryl Starbird.
Uh-huh.
They'd have all the cars that they had in their videos and their photo shoots. The Eliminator, I think, was one of them. And yeah, you had me a little scared. I thought it was going to be one of mine, because mine's a lot on that sentiment too. My number 1.
Okay. Well, I left a lot off.
I know.
We'll do a honorable mention top 5 after. No.
Yeah, every band created, because I mean, I was, like I said, 400 bands, and then you think about, I mean, that's pretty much all of them. How many bands are there? I mean, I want that number. I want to know how many bands have existed since, I mean, where would you start? You'd go back to the big bands with the swing, because that's a band. But, I mean, Mozart wasn't a band, so we wouldn't So what that was 1300. So from 1300s forward, how many bands have existed?
Let's just say
Internet.
1900s forward, how many existed? And that's still 45,000 plus 50, 100,000. I don't know.
Yeah, it was crazy. All right, good list, coach. It was a tough one.
You could pick it apart, tear it up, say it's trash because it's not trash, but say that shouldn't be your top 5, and I'll agree. Because if we did this next week, I would probably have a different top 5.
Yeah, I could five other, because like I said, we've done some repeating topics already, and they weren't the same list, and I didn't even have to go back and make sure that I didn't worry about that. It was like, this is today's list. This is what I'm feeling now. I know some of them made it and some of them didn't.
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna get in my list. Oh, thank you. Again, it was tough, so I just kind of went with what I felt kind of influenced me coming up or on my musical journey as a music lover. So my number 5, Dolly just wrote this one just for me, Joshua, off the 1971 album Joshua. And I don't know how she knew my beard was long and my hair was black. I don't know, but she did. She loves me, so that's all that matters. So Dolly, I know your husband just passed away. Let's give me a call, ring-a-ling. I'd still date Dolly.
Oh yeah,
sure. She's gorgeous. Got a granddaughter, maybe though. My number 4.
Your granddaughter. That's not going to work, by the way.
Huh?
Don't go from trying to date her to date her granddaughter. That's just not a smooth play, Josh. And I'm starting to figure out more and more why you struggle.
I know. It's a rough life, but hey, we're not in it for the glory, not at all. My number 4, Kiss. I Want You, Dolly. I Want You. I love all of Kiss. I mean, Kiss has got a good category of stuff. I do not like them. I mean, they're weird. That's why I like them. They get good music. Some of their stuff that they're into, I don't really know. But this one song, I Want You. It starts off like the intro. The first, first part of it is just melodic. It almost sounds like it's a love ballad. Then like, you can't get away, I want you, demonic. It just switches from, oh, this is going to be a great love song to, no, you're mine, I want you, come here, you know who I am. It almost borderline kind of creepy, but then it's like for me at least, the second verse kind of uncreepifies it, and it's like, oh, your life will just be miserable without me. I'm not going to kill you or murder you or anything like that if you don't get with me. But it's still a great song, just a good musical piece there about I Want You. Number 3, this artist had a few name changes. His record company made him put this middle name thing in, but he dropped it. John Mellencamp. And Key West Inermezzo, and I Saw You First. This was off his 2000 or 1996 album, Mr. Happy Go Lucky. I think this was right after what was it, The Wild Side or The Wild Nights? That was a toss up, but this song kind of it's got organs, and it kind of makes me feel. It makes me imagine what Mardi Gras would be in my mind. And I remember walking into like a CD trade post right after it came out and buying the single, and that's how I have it. I still come across it digging through my stuff every once in a while, but real fun song. Reminds me of Mardi Gras. I've always wanted to go Mardi Gras, never made it yet.
I kind of liked it when he was the Cougar.
I mean, I didn't. The Cougar, it's still the same music, but I think he didn't like it, and the record company made him keep it. Because I think he was John Cougar for a little while, and then he went John Cougar Mellencamp.
Forever I thought they were two separate people because I thought like that's the reasons. Like one guy's just John Mellencamp, the other's like, no, I'm John Cougar Mellencamp.
Yeah,
I'm like, these guys went to the same high school too, and I don't know.
Damn, coach, calling me out. I assume
I
that's
knew, I was going to say, I knew what that was in reference to. I didn't know if you were going to put it up there or not. I was looking at it on the side. I clicked, I hovered it, but I didn't do it. I was going to wait till your list was done and say, hey, I apologize. I still love you, but that's how friends do it.
I will be the first to admit I ain't got no game.
Well, no,
No
I'm
game.
just telling you the way you did that. Don't ever hit on somebody and then say, "Or do you have a granddaughter?" I guess was my reference.
Yeah, probably not, but would probably be a little closer to my age, maybe. I don't know. I think her granddaughter could be closer to my age. I don't know. She may not even have kids.
You could
I don't know.
possibly
I don't
have
know enough about you, Dolly. I'm sorry if I offended you. So we're gonna move on to a number 2, Tribe Called Quest. Can I Kick It? I did not get into this song till later, but the main sample piece of it, Lou Reed, Wild Side, which he's an inductee as well. So this is kind of like a twofer. But can I kick? I can't kick it, but
yes, you can.
they can. Tribe Called Quest can.
Yes, you can.
That's off the 1990 album, People's Instructive Travels, and the Path of Rhythm, something like that. Number 1, like I said, this was one of my dad's favorite bands. And every time the song would come on, he'd crank it up, and it was in like every Vietnam movie ever. And that's the back in the day, war movies weren't violent. I mean, they kind of made us watch them as boys to prepare us for war or whatever. So I remember watching Platoon way too early in life. I mean, Rambo and all those old movies. But Creedance Clearwater Revival, Fortunate Son.
Yep.
One of my favorite songs ever. This is off their 1969 album, Willy and the Poor Boys. They got inducted in '93. I had when everybody got inducted, and I think that's the latest I went. The furthest back I went was '93. Tribe Called Quest was 24. Mellencamp was 2008. Kiss was 14, and Dolly was 22. And I did notice they have like subcategories. You can be a main inductee, but then like musical influence. There's even a category for people who aren't musicians, like producers and stuff that I think they get some in there. And so it's pretty fun.
Good list. Good list. That same, your number 1 was on mine. Amy's going to be mad it didn't make mine. That was also CCR was her dad's favorite. And man, that's so many CCR songs. You just forget all these bands if you don't regularly listen to them, how many songs matter.
Oh yeah, how much good music they got. And I mean, a lot of their, like I said, most of theirs, like I don't want to say this, their greatest hits is pretty on point. I mean, that's their good ones. They got a couple other ones that should have probably been on there in my opinion, but their greatest hits album is a banger all the way through.
Yep. That was what's fun about this. The first list I found of these, I think I was doing something on Saturday or Sunday. Oh, Saturday working at work, and 8:00 in the morning I turned it on, and 3:00 at work when I left, I didn't skip a song. It was a blast. It was just I added a ton of songs to my list. A ton were already on there, but I didn't skip a song. There was just good music.
And like I said, Santia, she went ahead and recorded hers. We're going to get that playing right now. I think we can turn our mics back on and still kind of talk over it. So, and I think it's just going to shoot us over to the side. That's the plan. I'm going to click the button and we're going to find out. So yeah, we're not muted. This throws it in on everything that we record now. So we're just leaving it.
Oh, that's so cool. You get the little intro and everything. Wow. Happy 100th episode, everybody. I am suffering from a migraine, and I'm not going to make it to the show, but I wanted to go ahead and give you my top 5 while I'm up and about. So my top 5 songs by individuals from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame go as follows. Number 1 is going to be Muddy Waters, Manish Boy. Muddy Waters has been a staple in my life. Just overall, blues has been a staple in my life. It's what I cut my teeth on, that and gospel music. And one of the things that I really liked about this particular project was that there was so many different types of music in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and it's all innovative, all absolutely beautiful. And Muddy Waters' Manish Boy is definitely the song that if you want to cut your teeth to some blues, that's the song that you're going to listen to. And it's very interesting and creative and a little bit raunchy. And that's what I like about that song. I also like Coco Taylor's response, which is I'm a Woman. Coco Taylor, one of my favorite artists, just ever, was such a powerful woman. And she wanted to be right up there with the male blues singers. And she really did her thing. Number 2 is going to be Madonna, Like a Prayer. And the reason why I picked this song is because it upset the establishment so much. There were so many pearls that were clutched, man. And Madonna was in the 80s, was just completely out there doing whatever she wanted to do, being as free as she wanted to be, and just kind of blazing a trail that had already been blazed a little bit, but she blew that motherfucker up.
You got an MF in.
She exploded the trail.
Until then.
And Like a Prayer was definitely one of those things in the 80s that made people talk and think, and it kind of upset the church and people's parents, and it kind of changed what people thought would be explicit content. I've always really loved Madonna because she's always been her own person. Number 3, when I was looking through the list, it was a lot of people that I knew, and I wanted to go through some artists that I didn't really know or wasn't really familiar with and pick somebody for number 3. Number 3 is going to be Ruth Brown. And Ruth Brown was sassy. She was beautiful, but she was sassy. And she sung songs about just being sick and tired of the status quo. Even when she was doing her thing in the 60s, she didn't have the same rhetoric. I don't know if that's the right word to use, as everyone else, to where you're just in love or being cheated on or whatever else. She was just talking about how she was just absolutely sick about it. She's tired of how things are going. And the song that I picked by Ruth Brown is called If I Can't Sell It, I'll Keep It. If I Can't Sell It, I'll Keep Sitting on It. And she starts the song off talking about furniture in a furniture store, and how somebody came in and wanted to purchase some furniture, but the price was too high for what it was that he wanted to do with the furniture. And she advised that if the price is too high, then he could just keep on going, and she'll just continue to sit on it. And she had a lot of value in her furniture, and her furniture was velvety and silky, and her furniture had long legs and was beautiful. And y'all, she was not talking about furniture. She was not talking about furniture. I heard this song the first time. I threw my shoe across the street, hit one of the neighbor kids. I said, "What?" I said, "Tell him, Ruth." That's what I said. I said, "Tell him."
Tell him.
It's beautiful. Number 4, Parliament, Funkadelic, Flashlight. The funk movement was a beautiful movement. And Parliament and the Mothership was definitely leading that line at the time as far as innovation and creation. And still to this day, there is no sound like Parliament. It was it has been such a beautiful creation that it's been sampled over and over again by so many different things, always replicated but never duplicated. You know what I mean? Parliament and George Clinton have definitely put their stamp in this world. And number 5, I was trying to think of something that was rock and roll to me. I said, what group and what group really represents the rebelliousness and the freedom of rock and roll to me? And there were several. There were several, and I gave them all a good consideration. But the one that I really thought about that made the biggest change, at least in my life, in my world, was Rage Against the Machine. Not just because they were just incredible and powerful as a group, but because they took the chance to stand up and fight politically with their music and tell the truth about how things were going in the world. And they held nothing back. And it really did give people pause, and it encouraged people to really look into the system and how it is built. And a lot of music did that. But Rage Against the Machine were the musicians at their time that really had something to say about it. And there's always been musicians that have done that. Even just Billie Holiday with Strange Fruit, subtle conversation about terrible things going on in the world. But my Rage Against the Machine song is Killing in the Name of, just because it's fun to listen to, and it's a good song, and it's nice to hear, but it also is putting the truth so incredibly in your face that you cannot ignore it. And it does make you want to rage, and it does make you tired of the system, and it does make you tired of the way things are going. And sometimes the only thing that you can do about it is create and make art. And that's what they did. They made art. I do believe they were involved in some things, but I didn't look it up. But that's about it. So I appreciate being here, even just digitally, for this 100th episode of For Music Lovers Only podcast. I love you guys. Just the journey that we've taken together since we started this thing as a trio has been amazing, and we've really just witnessed and created some valuable moments. And even though we don't have a ton of people looking, I know that we are making a difference. Just being able to have these conversations about music and bring light to people that maybe have never really gotten the light shown on them. So here's to 100, y'all. I'm going to go lay back down.
Another 100 to go.
Go to bed, girl.
Yeah, she was looking like she definitely told she wasn't feeling.
Oh yeah, no, she
feeling good.
And that's why I said you don't usually fake and then still turn in your homework early. No. So
did not accuse of faking at all, but it was a good list. I'm glad she got it done. Either way, we would have got it incorporated somehow. But
yeah, Parliament Funkadelic was on there. I'm glad she got him on there. And then Rage, I had Guerrilla Radio, but was on there. I agree. Same thing. They're like innovators of a lot of the type of music I love listening to now. They were kind of some of the people that, were early on to that style of music.
I get a lot of videos of guitar videos coming through on the Facey book, the Book of Faces, and Tom Morello, just the way he made some of those sounds. And at first they thought he was they thought they were sampling stuff, like the scratches and stuff, but no, that he's like, nope, it's my guitar. I just go,
Yeah, try. That's what's crazy. Like people that, I did want to do some honorable mentions just because I feel so bad about so many that got left off this list. So I got 263 honorable mentions. It should only take me 45 minutes. I wanted to get Leonard Skinner, Freebird, Led Zeppelin, Stairway to Heaven, Foghat, Slow Ride, Bad Company, Shooting Star. Jesus Christ, The Doors, Light My Fire, Eminem, Stan. This is page 1. I haven't even rolled to page 2.
Yeah.
It just, I could just kept hitting yes, yes, yes. So
I had two that I'm a little butthurt couldn't make the list. We should have done a 7 list, and that would have been good. But Deep Purple, Space Trucking,
yep.
and Aerosmith was. But this one was "Eat the Rich" off of I don't know. The album came out in the '90s. As it was one that came out, while I was alive. So that's why I liked it. And I remember me and Dad buying it and jamming it out. But that song's one of the very first stickers I did was like this Steven Tyler-esque mouth screaming "Eat the Rich." And I may bring it back. I got to get some stickers set up to send to the print shop tomorrow. So I got to get that done tonight. I'm gonna get the playlist done. Like I said, with the Today in Music, I'm gonna try to record a couple days ahead so I don't get burnout on it. So I've got tomorrow's already recorded and edited, and so it's just ready to go. And then but yeah, just in the 4 days I've done it, we've got like 1,000 freaking views on the YouTube channel, and from that and everything else, like maybe 5 or 6 new subscribers. We're creeping in on 400, and 500 is the first benchmark where you can monetize, but you got to still have, an X amount of hours watched, which we're nowhere near that. Like I said, I've been chopping up just the sections of our top fives like I did back in the day. You had mentioned it a couple weeks ago. So I was like, yeah, that's an easy content just to push out of ours, and really no editing, other than a little slide at the beginning. But I boosted mine on Facebook just to see what it would do, because I did switch over to monetization. I spent $5 to boost it, got 500 plays, views, or whatever on it, but it did absolutely nothing towards the monetization. It didn't even count. So I'm like, well, that's not worth it. The views get you there, but I can't pay the rent and views, so it's like, eh.
Yeah, and I don't know, at some point, it just kind of grows and keeps, I think you do the right stuff. Everything I watch is, it maybe not oversaturation, but making sure you're daily posting, making sure you're, doing some relevant stuff, making sure you're doing interactive stuff, and
it's probably definitely oversaturation, but that's kind of what it, I go through and look at some of these other quote unquote creators, and they're puking out way more than I am.
That's what I said. It's just, and it's hard to see what sticks, and eventually we'll figure that out, and then it won't, and it'll go on to something else, you know?
I think right now for like boosting stuff, I'm not gonna, that was kind of my main experiment, was to boost one to see if it, boosting it paid itself back over here into the monetization, and it didn't. I didn't notice that it did. So I'm definitely not, I'm not going to spend $5. Just, of course, Facebook was like, oh, spend $50. And I'm like, no, I'm good.
Oh, yeah. I spent $10 once. Of course, I think I pulled it out like $7 in, because I was getting, but it was a bunch of the fake accounts and bots and this stuff. And I had some other content that I'd done myself that was better stuff. And I need to get back to even the funny stuff and mixing it.
Yeah. Algorithm is a very fickle thing.
I got a new coach's corner out I put out tonight, since I didn't do a live episode. It's actually a couple weeks ago. Still was struggle a little bit with sound. It was the early on sound stuff, one of my second or whatever StreamYard, but it's just me sitting in a corner talking about loyalty. So if you want to watch it, go check it out.
Definitely. Hit up the Spotify, like, subscribe, all that stuff. We're doing it organically. So check out Middle of the Road podcast on Spotify, all the platforms. Room Green Productions. We're at the YouTube channel. That's where the home of this podcast, For Music Lovers Only. We got first Sunday in April. We'll be back over in the studio over there. We got Rotten Aura, one of the bands from our metal adventures.
Okay.
Some homies, got a couple of the homies in the band, so
I'm working on getting Bumpin' Uglies on my show or this one. So we made eye contact. I screamed at the mic.
yeah.
I think we made a connection. I'm going to see if he remembers me when I hit him up. I was at the show in Wichita. Do you remember me?
You looked right into my soul, man.
Yeah, I think we made a connection. Nothing weird. Not a weird connection.
Not a weird one.
By the way, granddaughter. Okay, don't say that to him because he's younger than me. Never mind.
Yeah.
That would come off creepy.
That's definitely some jail time. Dolly's granddaughter would have probably at least been my age, so that's where
I didn't mean to come off creepy. I just mean don't go from hitting on. I'm sorry, I was just messing with you. Back on Dolly. This was more a general statement about next time you hit on somebody, don't follow up with, "Do you have a granddaughter?"
I can't hit on Dolly now. Is that what you're saying?
I haven't dated in 20. I think in June will be 23 years we've been married, and we're together like 3 years before that or some shit. I don't know. Maybe it's changed. I'm just saying.
It's definitely changed, but I don't think that's gonna help me.
Maybe you might actually find the group now in this world that line works on. But
yeah. Hey, leave me alone. I'm biting. Oh, sorry. All right.
Whoa, that took a turn, bud.
Idiocracy. Come on now.
I know. I was glad Fontia came on for 100, even though she ditched us for 100. No, I'm joking.
I got some ideas for next week. We'll bounce that around. I mean, I think one of the top contenders is what the most offensive songs. I like that one. So that one's on the board. I think we should do.
Yeah,
get some feathers ruffled. Ruffling feathers is fun, but episode 100, great. Here's to 200. Thanks for everybody watching. Thanks, Coach Santia, and we're gonna get off here.
Shop local.
Shop local. Shop wherever the hell you want to shop. Don't tell me what to do.